This is Super Mike World 2. It's the sequel to Super Mike World, and it was released on July 2nd, 2022. And the runner to speedrun this level is TYS, or ThatYoungSpeedrunner. Super Mike World 2 has a rich record history, with many records in it. But there's one level that is notorious for its precise speedrun in individual levels, Towering Trunk. And during July 12th, he was doing attempts to beat his record there, a 29 flat. At the time though, speedruns for this level were dull. You did normal platforming, without anything major added. So, runs of Towering Trunk didn't look flashy. But still, TYS held on to the record of the level the day after it released. And that brings us to July 9, 2022, where TYS was trying to beat his 29 flat. And luckily enough, he beat it by nearly 2 seconds, with a 27.9. But then, several days later, he got a message on Discord. Now sure, people messaged him a lot, with rather support or completely fake glitches in multiple games he played, including Super Mike World 2. But this message was different. It was a shortcut discovered by a person named CHeckerz. He thought it was fake, but he still had to verify what was in the video, and if it was real or fake. But what was in that video was something he'd never thought of before. It was something that was obvious, he had never thought of. And this would change the course of the whole level. But not only that, his record was going to become quickly tougher to beat. This is the story of TYS trying to hold on to that record. TYS's mind was blown. He had just saw something that would forever change the course of the level. And more interesting was the guy who posted the shortcut. His name was CHeckerz. So, with the understanding of the video, he started using the trick in runs. This was what was in that video. See, in the start of the level, there's a platform. Normally you're supposed to walk on a small path, then get on that platform. But instead, CHeckerz did this. The platform is just low enough so that if you jump, then do the jump boost with the boost flower, you can just barely make it up top and skip some walking. If done, you save roughly 5 seconds, which is not just decent, that's gigantic in any level at all. So, after seeing the video, TYS would get to attempt to beat the 27.9. But more interesting than the shortcut was who was CHeckerz. Well, he was a strategy finder, and later on he'd go on to find a Keycoin cavern skip, and other smaller time saves. So, TYS would get to work. He booted up the game, and started running Towering Trunk. Three days after the 27.9, on his 1 of 100 attempts, he had a chance. The run started with the platform skip, and then everything was normal. He did suffer from a tiny time loss, but it didn't really matter because it wasn't huge. But still there were time saves, not huge, but still great. Take the blue trampoline section. You can time your boosts quickly so that instead of timing them randomly, you ascend quick and save around a second. And finally, the goal platform skip. Normally you get on a trampoline, and then jump on the platform where the goal is. But instead, you can just simply boost upward and skip using the trampoline, saving roughly 2 to 3 seconds. This had been done in the 27.9, and was used way back. And thanks to TYS's effort, he got a new record, a 26.700, a record just by a second. So finally, the shortcut was used. And this run would stand for quite a while. But suddenly, just a month after the run, CHeckerz suddenly told TYS something. He had just found another skip. And he sent another video, showing how it's done. See, at the middle of the level, there's a long saw section, Normally you jump over the saws and jump on clouds and then jump on a platform for the next section. But, at the start of the saw section, there's this saw on a 3-block high platform. That's high enough to reach the ending platform, which is behind you. So, if you jump on the saw, you can damage boost and get iframes to just barely reach the platform. This can save roughly 2 seconds if done, but doing it is pretty tough. But despite that roadblock, TYS would use it in his runs. So, 3 months after the 26.7, TYS got to attempts. On October 22, 2022, TYS would get on a promising attempt. He started with a quick start, with a fast item pickup and a good platform skip. The damage boost skip was second try, as he was pushed back on the first. He also improved his platforming a bit, making it a bit more clean. Thanks to the shortcut, he got a brand new record. A 24.4, a record by more than 2 seconds. His platforming was on par, and he pulled off the skips great. To sum it up, it was pretty great. Later on, while TYS was doing attempts, his first rival in months appeared. It's time I introduce you to E1_0. At the time, E1_0 was a rookie player, but later on, he's gone to set records in nearly every single Super Mike game, and holds the record for any percent with a 441. Yet he tried his best, but he failed and failed. Meanwhile, TYS's 24.4 stood on top, with nobody trying to beat it. Except E1_0. But the run had a lot going, with great execution of all of the skips. So, E1_0 had to do something. So he decided to practice, and then do hundreds of attempts to beat the record. It wasn't going to be easy, yet it looked like he had to do something to get a record that TYS had from 2022 through 2023, almost a full year. But while he was doing that, TYS also started doing attempts to beat his own world record. So, you've got 2 people trying to gun for a new world record. There's only one person who's getting that new record. TYS had the record, and he improved it as soon as E1_0 had just 2 more tenths of a second to save, to get a record that nobody but TYS had. And E1_0 kinda backed off, and took a long break from trying to beat this time. While E1_0 removed himself from the scene, TYS continued record attempts, however, most of them weren't records. But finally, on May 11, 2023, one of these people broke through. After nearly a full year of TYS's reign, he was no longer the record holder for Towering Trunk. And E1_0's run was actually a pretty good run, starting with a new setup that made the platform skip faster. By slowing down when getting close to the platform, you can land on it and then do the jump boost without having to set up on the platform below the high platform, saving some time. He also had cleaner movement overall, saving some additional time. Finally, E1_0 had the record, and TYS was now in second place, something that never happened before. But you'd think that E1_0 would leave the record there, and stop playing? Well no, and just 13 days later, he did this. E1_0 suddenly came back, and set another incredible record. And once again, he had cleaner movement, allowing him to save more time. This was incredible, 2 records from E1_0. TYS was unmatched. But funnily enough, that record would stand for a very short amount of time. E1_0's run was great and all, but TYS was coming back, and he was coming back for something unbelievable. He wanted to get the first time under 22 seconds, which was something that was thought to be the hardest to break barriers in the game. So, E1_0 had to look out, TYS was coming back, and he was possibly going to get a really solid run. So, E1_0 decided to go with TYS, and go for the sub-22. Here goes nothing. TYS finally done it, he got the record back, and got the first 21-second time in the game. E1_0 was now unmatched, the tables had turned. TYS actually used 2 strategies, starting with the block boost. By boosting as soon as you get the dash flower, you can boost under the block and you don't fly in the air, so you simply fly forward, saving some time. And the second strategy was just optimizing his movement with the boosting, so he saved some additional time. He also implemented an old strategy where you skip the first trampoline at the ending, saving some time. The first sub-22 was here, TYS was back, and the record seemed to be solid. So he left it there. The run stood for around a month, a pretty considerable amount of time. But that's still not where the record stands. A 21.5, the level's current record. It's considered a solid run, optimizing with the boosting more. He also optimized movement before the saw part, jumping from the slope and not the checkpoint. Super Mike World 2 might be a popular game on Scratch, but through the whole world, not at all. Now, I may be getting off topic, but the point of this entire channel is to cover very unpopular games, or just games that are just popular on the website only. I've never made a quest to beat blank video before, but I wanted to experiment with it. But it's interesting to see the fact that TYS had the record for such a significant time. And yet he still pulls through, and was able to get the current record. E1_0 beating the record was an incredible moment, yes, but TYS getting it back after 3 records is just crazy. The history of the level is a testament to TYS's and E1_0's gameplay. It's incredible that from 2022-2023, TYS had the record. So, just to let you know, TYS showed you something. Never give up on your world record, push forward, and hold on to that record as long as you can, before someone beats it. There's still maybe a lot to go for the game, but TYS showed that people can set really solid times. The history for any game is unpredicting. Will someone else try and beat TYS's time? We may never know. This was just a bit of the history of Towering Trunk. This was the quest to beat that young speedrunner. Thanks for watching.